You're deep in the forest or high in the mountains, and suddenly you realize something's wrong. The trail is gone. Your GPS isn't working. The trees all look the same. You're alone and you're lost. In that moment, your survival depends not on panic, but on a plan. Every year, thousands of people get lost in the wild, and many of them make the same deadly mistakes. But with the right mindset and a few smart moves, you can make it out alive even stronger than before. In this video, I'll walk you through a step-by-step wilderness survival guide designed for real-world situations. Whether you're a beginner or experienced hiker, this could save your life or someone else's. Let's get into it. The moment you realize you're lost in the wilderness, your first instinct might be to panic. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing becomes shallow, and your mind races with worst-case scenarios. But here's the truth. What you do in the first 5 minutes can make the difference between survival and disaster. The most important action you can take is to stop moving and calm yourself. Panic leads people to wander further off course, make poor decisions, and waste precious energy. You might think you're finding your way out, but in reality, you're just getting more lost. Instead, take a deep breath. Find a place to sit down. Drink some water if you have it. Let your body calm down so your brain can think clearly. This is your reset button. Once you're calm, begin observing your surroundings. Can you hear a nearby stream or road? Do you remember any unique landmarks you passed recently? Was the sun on your left when you entered the area? These small details will help you build a mental map of where you might be. If you've told someone where you were going and when to expect you back, your chances of rescue are already higher. Rescuers will begin at your last known point, so staying near that area is usually your best option. Especially if the terrain is unfamiliar, the forest can be intimidating, but it's not your enemy. Your fear is by taking control of your breath and your thoughts in the first few minutes of being lost. You're already on your way to survival. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be smart, steady, and alert. Stay put, stay calm, and begin the process of thinking like a survivor. After calming yourself, it's time to switch into survival thinking, and one of the best frameworks to follow is the STOP method. Stop, think, observe, plan. This 4-step approach helps you regain control over your situation and avoid the kinds of mistakes that can turn a survivable situation into a life-threatening one. First, stop. Literally freeze your movements and avoid acting out of instinct. Don't keep walking in random directions or chase the feeling that you just need to find the trail. Moving without purpose can lead you farther from help and deeper into danger. Sit down, slow your breathing, and accept your current position. Next, think. Revisit what you know. When did you last recognize a landmark or signpost? How long have you been off course? What gear do you have on hand? Do you have a compass, map, or GPS that still works? These answers will help you make rational decisions instead of emotional ones. Then, observe your surroundings. Look for natural features that might help orient you: streams, cliffs, ridgelines, or the angle of the sun. Notice signs of human presence like footprints, old fire pits, or trail markers. Listen for sounds, vehicles, voices, rivers that might guide you toward civilization or safety. Finally, plan your next move. If you're unsure of your direction, the safest strategy is often to stay put and make yourself visible to rescuers. If you're confident in a direction or have a clear path back to a known location, mark your current spot first and proceed cautiously. Using the STOP method turns a chaotic situation into a manageable one. It buys you time, saves your energy, and protects your safety, all essential for surviving until help arrives, or until you find your way out. Once you've taken time to assess your situation, your next priority should be clear. Secure water and shelter before nightfall. In survival, exposure kills faster than hunger. Temperatures in the mountains or forests can drop drastically after sundown, and if you're wet, cold, or unprotected, you could develop hypothermia even in summer. Start by looking for a safe, elevated, and dry spot to set up a temporary shelter. Avoid valleys or stream beds where cold air and water can settle. Look for natural overhangs, thick tree coverage, or fallen logs you can build against. Use branches, leaves, bark, and even your backpack to create a windbreak or basic lean-to structure. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to keep you off the cold ground and shield you from wind and rain. At the same time, begin searching for a water source. Humans can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Streams, rivers, or lakes are ideal, but even collecting rainwater or dew can help. Always purify water if you have filters, tablets, or a way to boil. If not, choose the cleanest. Moving water you can find ideally from upstream. Never drink from stagnant pools unless it's life or death. If you're short on time, prioritize shelter first, especially in cold or wet conditions. Build it close to your water source, but not too close to avoid flooding or animal activity. Once you've protected your body from exposure and found hydration, your odds of surviving the first night increase dramatically. Remember, survival is about making small, smart decisions that stack in your favor. Don't wait until dark to act. Use the daylight while you have it. Shelter and water are your foundation for staying alive in the wild. If you're lost and can't find your way out, the next best option is to be found. That means creating visible or audible signals to help rescuers locate you. Signaling for help should begin as soon as you've established shelter and water, especially if you're staying put for safety. Every hour counts, and your ability to be seen or heard could shorten your time in the wilderness significantly. One of the most effective visual signals is fire. A smoky daytime fire or a bright nighttime flame can be seen from miles away. Build it in an open space with green leaves or pine needles added for thick smoke. If you're in a dry area, clear a fire ring to prevent it from spreading. 3 fires in a triangle is a universal distress signal, but even one will grab attention if used wisely. If fire isn't an option, use reflective surfaces like mirrors, phone screens, or shiny foil to reflect sunlight. This can signal aircraft or distant hikers. You can also create ground symbols, large X's or SOS signs made with rocks, logs, or clothing, preferably in open areas with contrasting colors. For sound, use a whistle, banging metal, or even yelling at regular intervals. Sound travels far, especially in valleys and during cooler parts of the day. A good rule: 3 blasts or calls every few minutes. If someone is nearby, they'll know it's a distress call. Movement can help to waving bright clothing or even climbing slightly for visibility. But always return to your shelter to conserve energy and avoid injury. Don't underestimate your ability to be found. Rescuers are trained to look for signs, but they can only help if you give them something to notice. Visibility is survival. Make yourself known. In the absence of modern tools like GPS or cell service, natural navigation becomes your lifeline. Nature has always offered subtle clues to direction if you know how to read them. While it's safest to stay in one place, if rescue is likely, there may come a time when you need to move, whether to find water, avoid danger, or locate a way out. When that happens, it's critical to move with purpose and awareness. Start with the sun. In the northern hemisphere, the sun rises roughly in the east and sets in the west. If it's morning and the sun is on your right, you're heading north. In the afternoon, the sun on your left suggests the same. Just be sure to double-check if shadows shift throughout the day. Another method is using shadows. Stick a straight branch upright in the ground and mark the tip of its shadow with a rock. Wait 15 to 30 minutes and mark the new shadow tip. Draw a line between the 2 marks. This gives you an approximate east-west line. Stand with the first mark west on your left. You'll be facing north. Observe your environment. Moss tends to grow more thickly on the north sides of trees in the northern hemisphere due to less sunlight. However, this is not a foolproof method and should be used cautiously. Also look for valleys, streams, or animal trails. These often lead to lower ground or water sources, which can eventually lead to roads or human settlements. If you decide to move, mark your path, stack rocks, break small branches, or tie fabric to trees so you can backtrack if needed. Nature leaves behind signs. It's up to you to read them. When tech fails, the earth becomes your compass. Survival isn't just about gear or skills, it's a mental game. When you're lost in the wilderness, fear can creep in like fog. Doubt begins to whisper. Loneliness gets louder. The longer you're isolated, the more your mental strength becomes your most critical survival tool. The first battle you'll face is the voice inside your head. No one is coming. You'll never get out. You're going to die here. These thoughts are normal, but they're not helpful. Survival begins by controlling your mindset. Replace fear with focus. When the brain panics, it stops solving problems, but when it's calm, it starts creating solutions. Routine is powerful. Create one immediately. Gather firewood at the same time each day. Check your surroundings in the morning. Maintain your shelter, and track time with sun position. These habits give structure to the chaos and keep your mind busy and focused. Visualization also helps. Picture your rescue. Imagine hearing the sound of a helicopter or the voice of a ranger calling your name. This isn't false hope, it's keeping your will strong. Many survivors have said that hope was the only thing that kept them alive. Talk out loud if needed. It keeps you company, maintains vocal confidence, and wards off wild animals. Write notes in the dirt or on bark. Hum. Sing. Keep your mind active. When your spirit is strong, your body lasts longer. Finally, celebrate small wins starting a fire, finding water, staying dry through the night. These victories feed your confidence and remind you are surviving, not just enduring. You don't need to be fearless to survive. You need to be mentally resilient, calm under pressure, focused under fear, and patient when things feel uncertain. In the wild, your mindset is the one tool you carry everywhere.